Welcome to Shit Chat with MMA.
Where we talk bodybuilding, business, and babies.
All right, because I always laugh because I'm like babies. We
Very
fail
well.
to
No, we
talk
can
too
talk about
much on
this week.
babies. But I just want to start with this. Episode 6. Fuck yeah, we have made it this far. And I appreciate the people that have been reaching out, giving us feedback with the podcast. It's been awesome. So thank you for those that have shouted out in the DMs, filling up the inbox, saying it's awesome. We appreciate you, and we always appreciate the feedback.
And this is literally the only way that we can actually grow is through you guys sharing our content, because we don't obviously run ads on this.
It's just nice to know that people actually listen.
We do this for fun
as well.
But we're going to jump straight into this week. There are a few things that we're going to talk about. Is semi-glutide post-comp. Nice little controversial one there.
Yeah.
How do we handle conflict between ourselves? The difference between those who succeed and those who do not. Is our worth reflected by our scale weight? And do we need to be in a build or a shred all the time?
Cool.
And also just a few things around like training 5 days a week, whether it's effective for weight loss.
Okay.
Alright, so we're going to jump straight into the first question, which I already forgot what it was.
Kicking off with controversy.
Oh yes, semi-glutide post-comp. Any experience?
Semi-glutide or Ozempic for those.
Ozempic,
They're all different brand names.
We've talked about this a little bit on the podcast before, but post-comp, any experience for use manage extreme hunger hormonal response? And I'm going to start off by saying this, is that I've actually trialed this post-comp.
Just recently.
Recently.
Always honest, raw with us, and you've tried it.
So it was probably 2 weeks post-comp coming back from America. I had it there to trial because I was like, I really want to know from my point of view how it feels, if it works, because I've had a few clients use it, and they've had very varying experiences on it. And I'm only going to talk from my experience only. The first day or two, I had mad GI issues in terms of bloating. I felt so uncomfortable and so full in my stomach. And from that point of view, I didn't really want to eat too much. And I think that's probably what drives a lot of the reduction of appetite, is the feelings of nausea, fullness, sickness even. But from my experience also, my gut health is so important to me, because I know that it directly impacts our mental health as well. And from there also, I had that week where I was just
it's probably 2 weeks.
Not with it. I was really depressed. I was really hormonal. It was not a good time. So I think when you're pairing that kind of response in terms of shitty GI upset, mental health stuff, plus post-comp, it could be kind of a recipe for disaster in terms of a mental health perspective as well as a health perspective. But again, there could be an instance where this person's struggling so much with overeating that there may be a indication for it post-comp. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, cool. That's it. I think first and foremost, touch on the reasons why you wanted to use it, other than just trialing it for yourself. It was a reasonable time to use it post-comp, like the question asked, because your hunger hormones are so dysregulated. Ghrelin is just running rampant, which means you're just hungry all the time.
Thinking about food, the food focus is probably the worst thing.
It's the worst. So you endure it the whole contest prep, and you endure it for the sake of knowing you're getting on stage to compete and you want to win.
Yeah.
So you can put yourself through some pretty nasty shit in order to do that. Post-comp's a different story. That goal is being taken away, and now you're getting introduced to being able to socialize with friends. You're trying to somewhat say control if you've got the right coach and structure.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking hard mentally to stay on track post-comp with ghrelin and leptin running rampant, mainly ghrelin. That signaling just is so difficult. And for those who've never done contest prep or got down to the levels of body fat that it's going to cause this to happen, you probably won't understand. A deficit and losing 5 or 6 kilos, you'll experience it.
Yeah, people will be like, what, you're hungry? And you're
You'll
like, yeah, you're hungry,
but
you're hungry.
Nowhere near to the depths of what contest prep's like.
Yeah.
It's just extreme, and it's probably the hardest part of bodybuilding I find is that, I'll get through the bodybuilding, which is hard as fuck anyway, to not break on my diet, to not overeat, to do the work required to get shredded and win on stage. But post-comp is so fucking hard. No one talks about it enough. And,
Yeah.
you know, we've done it, how many times have we reversed and come out of shows, and I've never successfully really done it properly.
Yeah.
Still.
And when we say successfully, we mean staying within calories and like perfectly not going over. But like
yeah, I'm damn consistent, but I'm still made 20 mistakes post-comp, and I'll put my hand up, it's hard, you know, and it's so like you'll eat till you get full, and then you'll feel full and your belly's full where you've overate, and you'll still have that feeling to want to eat more. You're like, I can eat more.
Yeah.
When your body's telling you no, the rest of your body's like no. So it's really hard. So that is, I think, a reasonable time to try something like semi-glute. But I myself, and I spoke to Dean with my coach, and I said, I think I really want to try it because of the depths that we had to go to for my last contest prep. Again, dieting right down to extremely low calories, 900 is what I finished on.
Yeah.
And I said, man, I'm really worried post-comp. Do you think it's worth getting some of this from the doc that we work with and trialing it? And he's like, look, I wouldn't recommend it for most people, but for here, this is reasonable. And I did the same as Emily. I tried, like she didn't take my my experience into account. She was like, I want to try this for myself. And I went through the same thing. I was like so bloated, GI stress. I'm just not a fan of feeling that way. And I thought maybe it's just the response I'm having post-comp. Maybe it's just me. And it didn't, to be fair, other than the making me feel that way and uncomfortable, it didn't really reduce that food focus for me. Just because of the levels, like you were so far past the norm, so I still wanted to eat. But I just, same as them, I was so in tune with my body. I was like, fuck this shit. It was like 3 weeks in, I was like, I'd rather put up and starve than feel bloated like this. And, you know, I even have reflux at one point. There's just all these
reflux has got what got me. Like, I hate having reflux because that means, like, okay, something's up. Like, I'm not looking at something right here. I'm not having enough hydration. I'm having too much artificial stuff. But, like, I was doing none of that stuff and I was still getting reflux. And that was, to me, like we talk about gut health and how important it is, but like it's so important in terms of your ability for your body to assimilate the nutrients and at that point I was like, I need the nutrients to be going to the right areas. It's not worth it just kind of sitting in there.
Look, I'm not an expert on the drug, but I don't think that is a direct link to or result of taking it. I just think it's a combination of being in that stage post-comp where you start obviously increasing food coming out of post-comp anyway and dealing with that and introducing some new foods that are still normal foods, healthy foods, but you maybe haven't had the ability to eat because of the calorie deficit.
So in conclusion, it lasted for a week for me and I didn't take that second dose because I just couldn't justify it.
You did 2 weeks.
No, it was 2 weeks of it, but I only took one dose.
Right.
So I couldn't justify that it was good for me to continue. Like, although coming off it, obviously I started getting a little bit more appetite back and I've been consistently probably going over my calories by like 100 or 200 some days. So you just got to put up with what you want to put up with. Like, I'm not against people using it. I'm just saying, like, use it in the right context and you have to be willing to put up with that.
I think a few clients that have used it who are in the right circumstances to be in a position to use it have had really good experiences with it. We did it. Yeah. Obviously, like I said, combination of things.
It's not for us.
So I've been that shit. So did you. So I know that there are people, athletes using it in contest prep as well, and if that's, I certainly did not, and I wouldn't. In a contest prep situation.
I wouldn't be able to put up with like that feelings of constant nausea and sickness, and whether that is an everyone response
I wouldn't
or
even
not.
want to take the risk in contest prep, so I'll control.
You just don't
all the
know what it's
variables.
going to impact, like in terms of gut health or like.
And then for those that are going, oh, maybe you just took too much, your dosing was off, our dosing was bang on from the doctor's recommendation. It's the lowest. So, not for us, but it has its place. For certain individuals.
All right, so the next one was, I'll go into this one. How the weight on the scale, does the weight on the scale reflect self-worth? And I put this in here because I have been finding this particularly difficult during this reverse phase of when you're in prep, weight's going down, and this would kind of go into hand with like our clients who are in a weight loss journey. They're getting like that validation of like the weight's going down, I feel so good about myself, yes, we're winning, progress. And then what happens when we're in a maintenance or a build? That scale is going to be starting to go back up. And how do we dissociate ourselves from thinking like, now the weight going up is a good thing? Or like, the weight's going up, is this bad? So I totally resonate now with our clients that really struggle in a build because we've been celebrating this weight going down, weight going down, weight going down. Then we get to the build and it's like, now we need to swap this to be like, weight going up is a good thing. So no, your worth isn't dictated by the scale and the weight on the number on the scale, but it's totally fair sometimes to feel that because of what we celebrate during a deficit or a prep, and it's just about realizing like, what is your goal?
Yeah, but what are we celebrating?
Yeah, progress.
Like, yes, it is the weight on the scales moving. It's the progress that we're celebrating. You know, it's a data that's measurable, you know, that we are monitoring in order to dictate our next changes and whatever, or changes. So it's not like it is, but it isn't. It's like the weight we're celebrating going down. Yeah, it's the body fat that we're getting lean, we're getting tighter, and how we're measuring that is through scale weight. It could be calipers, you know, obviously visual as well. So
it's more so about realizing what is the goal and what does that mean in terms of all of these metrics. Like, what will we expect? I think that's probably a good one because a lot of people go into a build and they, like, although it seems easy for us to be like, weight's going to go up, they think lean muscle is just going to go up. Like, no, your body weight's going to go up. You're going to gain body fat.
But that, again, that's
also progress.
You know, that is seen as progress in what we're trying to achieve. Obviously, again, it's like measurable. We're not trying to accumulate too much body fat too aggressively, so it's quite controlled. But yeah, I think the big take home is like, do I need to be shredded to be valued? Like, I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Like, a lot of women's like, I'm tied to that 60 kilos because I know at 60 kilos I'm very lean.
Or guys are probably like, I need to be 120 kilos to...
Some guys could be on the other end of the scale. Yeah, I want to be open for most guys. It's probably over 100 kilos, you know, not 120. That's the extreme. But, you know, and that's it. Like, they think, oh, I'm going to be worthy of, like, women, and other guys are going to see me as alpha because I'm over that 100 kilos. Like, no one really gives a shit, you know. Like, people might make remarks because they've seen you change from 90 kilos to 100 kilos. Like, oh, Dave, you're looking fucking massive. And then they're like, yeah, that's what I want. It's more the fact that you're a good person, you know. Like if you're doing the training and the nutrition, you're aware of what you're eating and you're looking into that, it's for overall health, you know. So that's always going to be priority. And if you in the gym, it's like, well, I'm looking for performance. I want to be strong. You don't necessarily always need to be 10 kilos heavier. Bodybuilding is different. But for people, I'm no better of a person being 120 kilos in my off season, or then I'm getting on stage when I'm shredded with abs all the time. Like, no one out there goes, Matt's fucking, he's the best because he's got abs. Like, I feel like shit when I'm really lean. I'm a miserable person when I'm really lean. I'm not the Matt that I normally am.
And it's
and then people having that comparison, comparing. Like, don't cut me off. Just cut me off. Does everyone see that? Just cut me off. So no, your worth is the person you are. You know, are you a good person? You know, do you have good intentions for other people? Are you happy? You have a positive vibe? And then outside of that, it's like health. You know, what is healthy?
Yeah, and all I was going to add to that is, I think sometimes the whole, like, people tying their scale, like their value to scale weight and stuff, like, what we should be really looking at is, like, do we want to be seen as a person that looks after ourselves? That's probably more important. And that's not going to be a certain scale. That's going to be like, do they go to the gym? Are they health conscious? Are they looking at the food that they're eating? Are they getting to sleep on time? Like, that's probably
what... managing their stress.
Yeah. And that's why, like, I think I put something on Instagram the other day. It was like, if we focused more on health outcomes, we would have better outcomes in terms of... Altogether. In terms of body weight, in terms of weight management, because, like, if we were looking at, hey, is that person sleeping well? Is that person eating well? Is that person thinking well? Like, we're going to have better outcomes in terms of everything.
Yep.
So, guys, think less about how much I should weigh, but rather looking at, you know, am I a health-focused person?
Yeah. Am I taking the steps to be that person?
Yeah. All right. Do you need to be in a build or a shred? And I think this is a little bit like, not controversial, but like coming from us who are constantly in either phase, like
We're
we're
maintenance as
very,
well. It's three phases.
very rarely in a maintenance phase. Like,
Yeah, transition
yeah.
periods, you know.
Because we're either like, I think a lot of what we do in this industry is taken from bodybuilding, and some of that can be positive, but some of it can be negative in terms of people thinking that they need to either be in a building phase, an aggressive building phase, might I say, or a dieting phase.
It's like, we see it all the time. Like, people come to us and clients like, oh, well, now I want to get, they'll do a successful build, get some really good results.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to do a shred and get right back down to there. And I think for some people who have their goals, that's fantastic, but not for everyone. And it's not something you need to do all the time unless you do have physique goals. Like, in 2 years, I do want to build my physique up to be competitive to possibly do a show.
Yeah.
Well, that's purely your goal. You're a hobby builder, and you're like, hey, I'm not going to ever get on stage, but these are my goals to increase my lean mass by 5 kilos over the next 2 years. Yeah, you are going to go through them phases, but for the majority of the population and majority of our clients, it's not necessary. It might be like being happy with sitting at maintenance, optimizing health, because again, being in deficits throughout the year is not fantastic for sex hormones and overall health. You know, so being at maintenance or just above maintenance, and again, focusing on what we just spoke about, being healthy, optimizing on sleep, recovery, you know, nutrition, micronutrients, being stronger, like performance-based goals in the gym, is absolutely awesome. And that might be like, when I'm not bodybuilding, I'll probably do 1 deficit a year. It'll be 1, to do it with my clients, and 2, for coming into summer, just because I like to not carry as much weight around and be leaner than someone when I'm at the beach all the time.
And to give your year a bit of structure as well, like, we all love goals, humans love structure, and so it's not...
That's right, give me more structure. It's like, whether it's 10 weeks or 12 weeks dieting in the summer, it gives me that structure and goal, like, hey, summer, coming up to summer, this is where I'm going to be at.
Yeah, so like...
Outside of that, like...
Yeah, we don't need... And I think a lot of people get pushed into either build or shred, and yes, we have programs that are like that, but again, we are trying to attract people that want to do that goal.
What is the shred program for? It is for people going into summer that want to do what I just got that goal, and the other side of it is it's a weight loss program. For those that are carrying more weight than they should, for those that are like, hey, I've really let myself go, I haven't had any structure, I haven't focused on my nutrition, I haven't tracked, been in a miserable place, now I'm 10 kilos heavier, that's what the program. After they achieve that 10 kilos of weight loss and they're down to like a healthy level where they feel healthy, and their blood work maybe says they're healthy as well, that's always important, then they don't need to try and build from there, do they? It's like, now I'm going to sit at that maintenance.
And I think that one of the unique thing about our company is that we actually look at the clients coming on, whether they're doing a build or a shred program, and if they kind of look like the person that doesn't need to lose weight, or like they done yo-yo diets before, which has been highlighted in their consult, we will reach out to them and be like, hey, maybe this isn't for you. What we could recommend is this other program where we're going to put you on maintenance. So like, I think it's really important to work with a coach or a company or a community or something that actually gives a fuck about, like...
It's actually reading the consult.
Yeah, it's actually reading consult.
The history of the client and the client that's come on, it's really important. We have our group of coaches that communicate that with us all the time, and we put that in there right from the get-go, making sure then questions are asked in the consult so we can identify them types of people.
Next question for you is, do people need to be tracking all the time? That's probably one thing, is like people come on and they're like, I don't want to be tracking for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I get it. No, I don't think so. So the goal should be spending a period of time tracking, whether that's 6 months, 12 months, to gain that experience, to gain more knowledge around nutrition. And from that point, like, our goal for a lot of our clients is like, when you get back to that maintenance and you've tracked for a period of minimum, I would say probably 12 months, having that understanding how to do that on weekends, how to do that on holidays, you know, when you're eating out, to make informed decisions about the nutrition you're eating, you won't need to track all the time, because you'll know. I know what 180 grams of protein looks like, you know, or for a girl, 120. It's going to be 3 meals, and this is what I have. And then outside of that, it's like, well, what's some good fats I'm going to have? And then they'll be able to quite confidently maintain their weight there. And then all they're doing is, you know, they feel like, oh, maybe I'm sitting a few kilos heavier than I should. They jump on the scales and monitor their fasted body weight for a week, going, okay, it's probably, I know what my maintenance is, I know what I look and feel like, and my weight is at that level. I'm going to track again for the next 2 or 3 weeks just to tidy things up. And then as soon as they start tracking, they're consistently hitting them calories, weight starts to drop back down to that maintenance level they like. And they're like, oh, I'm there. You know, and that should be the goal, I think, for everyone, to be like, I have a tool And I know if I feel like I'm not being consistent with my calories and my body composition is changing in a negative way for me that I don't like, I'm now going to just bring that tool back out and track for a period of 2-4 weeks and be like, oh, I'm back to where I'm at. I don't need to track again. But
and then my next question is tracking for everyone?
I think for, like, there's two, this is controversial for you guys. You know how I feel about this. Yes, I believe it is. If you have no experience about tracking and you have body composition goals, the smartest thing you can do is learn how to track. If you say, for example, for most people, it's going to be weight loss. I want to lose 5-10 kilos. I'm in this position. Don't fucking guess it. Yes, you can guess it. It's not the healthiest approach to do that, because you'll be like, I'm just going to automatically cut in half what I'm currently eating. And yes, you obviously will create a calorie deficit and you will start losing weight. Is that the optimal approach? Like, how much protein you consume? How important is protein? Yes. If we're losing weight, because you look at weight, there's lean mass, okay, which is muscle tissue, and you will lose that in a deficit. Naturally, your body will want to break that down over fat mass. So we want to reduce the amount of that happens. We want more fat mass. We want to encourage that to happen. And we do that through resistance training. So training is important, obviously, to stimulate the muscle, and having an optimal amount of protein intake. So that's important. And then it's like looking at micronutrients and good fats. You need to have that knowledge. You're not going to have that knowledge. You're just going to drastically decrease your energy intake. That's the cleaner. And overall, if we're trying to optimize health, it's not the healthiest approach. So, and then what people do is they literally cut it in half, diet for a period of 6-8 weeks and get some great results, and then it just stops, it plateaus, and they're like, oh fuck, what now? I'll cut it in half again. Yeah. So there could be, for a male, like down sub 1,500 calories, and it's for health, it's not necessary.
The way that I like to put it is
so you could have done it in controlled steps and only.
Without tracking, it's like going to a building site and just throwing bricks around and expecting a house to be built. And that's what people do. They're like, oh, well, I'll just cut out all carbohydrates. And they're like, okay, well, I'll just cut out all fats then. And then they're at a point where they're maybe eating 700 calories a day, feeling shit. So we want to get the most out of the least input in terms of, like, we don't want to go down to 1,200 calories. If we could achieve the same result with 1,700 calories and the person feels good, you beauty. So this is why we track that. And I wanted to pose this question to you because because, like, there are a group of people that are like, tracking is obsessive, tracking is bad, I have, this eating disorder because of tracking. And you're like, it is a tool. Whatever meaning that you want to put on it is you, right? Like that's you. But it is literally just an app that you put the food into it, and whatever meaning you take out of that is
on you.
Is on you, So
I think at the end of the day, if you have these eating behaviors, I think you need to take the step in the right direction and not blame it on tracking, being like, this is obsessive, going to the gym and tracking my nutrition, and be like, what is causing my obsessive nature with food or excessive overeating, and go diagnose that with a therapist and start there and then work your way.
Because, like, do you call someone that manages their money obsessive, or like, would you say that someone that looks at their finances is, like, unhealthy? It's just the way that we look at it and the meaning that we attach to it. So, like, if you can stand back from it and be like, this is a tool that I use for this specific reason, and that's it, then that's sweet. I find that you just need to have the right also mentor or coaches around you to be able to let you know why the fuck you're using this thing. Because sometimes people are using it without knowing why they're doing it. And we use it because we bring knowledge and education to what that person's doing with their food. They then know what a protein is, where did protein come from, what carbohydrates, what's in the food that they're eating. And I think that's really important in terms of making decisions.
Yeah, and that ties into the whole meal plan versus tracking. So, like, meal plans are fantastic to get people started. They are utilised in a contest prep situation, absolutely, so you can control the variables. But outside of that, like, that's the key for us, is educating all our clients on how to track with MyFitnessPal, so they have that knowledge. They're not relying on us nutritionists or dietitians
make a meal
plan for them to follow.
And a lot of people will start with us and they'll be like, I want a meal plan. And I was like, you need structure. You don't actually need a meal plan, but you do need some structure with your food. So we're going to give you this meal plan to start off with, which is going to show you what breakfast looks like. what lunch looks like, what dinner looks like, but then we are going to give you the education to know what you can swap in and out with. Because at the end of the day, there are no good or bad foods. There's foods that are better for us, and there's foods that are not so good for us. And we obviously want to lean towards the better for us foods.
Yes. More whole foods,
More
nutritious.
And I was also wrong in the past when I was talking about meal plans, because I was very anti-meal plan for a very long time.
For the right reason, though. Like, it wasn't... The reasons are still valid. You were like, education is key. Because people, what do they do when they get to the weekend? What do they do when they go to a birthday party? And that's what we're seeing.
But it's more about having that combination of flexible dieting and meal plan. That is where the success happens.
Yeah.
Next question. Do you want the front voice? Alright. Last one. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is attitude. And I wanted to bring this one up. I wanted to bring this one up because a lot of people...
You answered your own question then?
No, I wanted to go into it.
So the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is...
attitude.
Yeah.
And it's because a lot of people think, oh, that person's successful because of their upbringing. Their partner has a lot of money.
Lucky break.
Any of the other reasons to flog away like someone's hard work. Good looks. And look, there may be people that are successful for those particular reasons.
It definitely is, but not for everyone.
But when I'm talking about success, I'm talking about like it's multifaceted, obviously, that like in success in fitness, success in the career, success in anything. And I truly believe like a successful person is a person that's gone from one failure to the next without losing that enthusiasm. Because that's what you need to do. Like life is all about failing, right?
Yeah.
But
you will. And all
you're
the most successful people fail millions.
You're going to have more failures than you will have successes. And I think the people that are successful are the ones that realize that and go, okay, I'm going to take this failure and turn it into an opportunity to learn. Because from that opportunity to learn is the only way that we develop. And we know this because we've gone through it. But a lot of people get to their first failure and they're like, that's it.
Can't handle the rejection, the failure, the feeling of what I did and all that effort I put into wasn't right or wasn't right for these people. And that setback really fucking knocks them instead of being like, this is normal, right, brush it off, that didn't work, what do I need to change here? How can I make that better? And that is literally like, you talk to any successful person, and a lot of our friends, the people we surround ourselves with, are really successful, and they all, it's fantastic.
Eat
shit all the time. But they also learn so much from that, and then they apply it to the next, the next change or the next attempt, the next approach.
Yeah.
We certainly did it, and people just think that, they're scared of that. They're scared of that feeling we just outlined. Launching a product and it fails. We did that recently. We're like, cop it, right there, the market. We thought it was fantastic. The market said no. The market will tell you really quick. So then we've put changes in place and now we're doing something different. But we've done that multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's a normal part of progressing. Like sometimes you'll fluke it.
The more that you can
get a home run straight off the get-go. And I think that can set people up for, failure as well, overall failure. Because they're like, it should be this easy.
I think
definitely not.
Hattie did a podcast the other day and I saw a very short clip of it, and she said improving your relationship with failure, and that hit with me because if we can improve our relationship with failure, then we just learn from our mistakes instead of being butthurt from it. Because if we had been,
you can get butthurt, and that's okay. Get butthurt,
anyway.
But it's sitting in that and just being left in that. Get the butthurt and be like, phew. Remember what that feels like? I made that mistake again. That's the lesson. That was the lesson I got from.
And in terms of weight loss, this is so relevant too, and especially for new clients coming on board or people listening to this that maybe are struggling with their weight loss journey, is when we have an obstacle. Hey, I went out on the weekend. I ate way too much food. What happened the next day? I felt like shit. Instead of being just seeing it for what it is and be like, I ate too much, I felt like shit. Today I'm gonna eat more because I feel like shit. And then the next day I feel shit again, I'm gonna eat more. Stopping yourself and being like, alright, today I can just take a few calories off and I'm sweet. And we would have stopped that shit cycle.
Or you just accept it. I think for a lot of people it's just you get up the next day and be like, damn, I just did Monday to Saturday, fucking killed it. Fantastic, so proud of myself. I love the way that made me feel by completing each daily task, ticking them boxes. And Saturday night with the gals, got the better of them. You know, made
Okay.
some silly decisions. But like Em just said, you own it, you wear it right then and there and go, man, that sucks. Remember how this feels. Right, it's Monday. Get back onto what made me feel really good last week, ticking the boxes. And we just start progressing. And then when the next weekend comes, hey, I know what happened last weekend. I'm not going to about to put 2 weeks down the drain with that same decision. You know, and that's that evolution of just dealing with it better, but also learning from it and being like, no, I think the biggest thing is people need to understand no one's perfect. Not one of us. A lot of people
Or have
bullshit
perfect
you
weeks.
and tell you these perfect runs, these perfect weeks. Sometimes it'll happen you get a perfect week, but very rarely shit goes wrong. So it's the way you react to that as well. Like, okay, you know, consistency. I say this to all our clients. What's going to determine you getting results here is your consistency. One, your attitude and your consistency. Being consistent. Even if it was like 85% consistency, you are going to achieve more results than people that are 100% effort and nothing, obviously. So, and a lot of people do, and people laugh, but a lot of people do go, fine, because we see
If
some
I'm not
clients
100%,
come,
I may
I'm
as
not
well.
100%, I'm hardcore, it's not worth it. I'm like, ooh, I used to have that attitude, let me stop you right there. And you'll fail. It's being okay with being human, making a mistake here and there, learning from it, and just being consistent with your efforts each day.
80% is the new 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think outside of that, to finish it off, I love saying this. What determines people to be successful and unsuccessful, or separates the two, is the people, yes, their attitude, but the successful people are willing to do the work the unsuccessful people aren't. Doing the shit, daily, mundane tasks that are boring in order to achieve and chip away to get that overall result.
But is that...
It's not these, oh man, that person must be so smart, oh, that person must be so strong. It's like, that person was just happy and okay with doing the boring
They just got
shit.
the grind mentality. They
Right?
just got the
Being
grind.
uncomfortable, they sit in the uncomfortable, like, I know that by ticking these boxes each day, I'm putting in place what I need to progress to.
But that's attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, attitude guys into it.
There was actually one more question. I shouldn't miss this one, and it'll be a quick one. It is, how do we handle conflict? Do you ever have blow-ups, and how do you resolve them? Well,
we're fantastic fighting.
Yeah,
I've got a big fighting background. My whole family was like the brawl. No, we actually do that. It's
you
funny.
do though. It's not even funny.
I think what you have to remember is we not only are we a beautiful partner, we parent together. We have different which is we're working on. We have different parenting beliefs. And I think that's normal for a lot of people.
I don't think that's a bad thing
It's not
necessarily.
bad because for most people
You need a yin and a yang.
Yeah,
You
so
can't have both people doing the same thing.
draw the line halfway and we got to meet each other halfway here because that's the best way for us to progress.
Yeah.
But outside, I hate to lose in the fight. I don't know why. I'm so competitive.
We're working on it.
Emily said it before.
I said that Matt would rather be right than save a relationship.
That's how important it is to me to win. But as I get older, I'm more mature.
And give him like 15 minutes and he comes around later.
I think, like I said, tying back before, running a business and doing multiple things together, it's very hard, and we're both very, I would say stubborn in our approach, but we know what we want. So then you have to try and make that work with two people, and it can create conflict. But conflict's not bad, because it's quite normal with relationships and people, but it's the way you resolve it and how long it takes you to do that. And I think we're pretty good. Like, yeah, you give me the shits and I give you the shits.
We'll make like an actual huge effort to come back after and talk about what happened and resolve it, rather than in the past we've definitely gone the wrong way about it and had a big blow up, and then like 2 seconds later we just pretend that it didn't happen. And that causes the cracks in the relationship to occur. So like,
foundation.
Yeah. So that it's really important for us to be able to be like, okay, this happened. You think that, I think that. Most of the time we're like, it's okay to disagree. We're going to do this next time.
Yeah, it's okay to disagree. And that was something for me maturing, being like, not everyone, Emily doesn't need to think the way that I think.
Yeah, she's not going to think the way that I think.
She's her own person. She shouldn't, and I can't mold that. And she can't mold that way I react. She can help me improve the way I react to certain situations through her own experience, which she does. But like, yeah, your expectations on people is what a lot of the time gives you the most grief. Because you have
how you think that person's going to respond to something.
Respond, or how they should respond. And you put that expectation on that person. When they're their own person, they're going to perceive things differently to what you would, or have a different thinking pattern, you know. So
get better as we grow.
Yeah, I've definitely got better. Emily's been way better. She's like, if things kick off, I get I get overwhelmed because I try doing everything myself, and Emily's quick to point that out until I can't tolerate it anymore and I explode. But she'll, instead of fighting to win the fight over the years, Emily will try and neutralise.
I think it's important for one person to...
She'll recognise
be
what's
the
going on, and
neutralizer.
she's like...
And it's not because I don't think I'm right, it's because it's not worth the fight to argue with him at that point of time.
Which takes special person. Because I'm now working on
I
that.
would have
like,
usually been like, in the past, people probably don't think of this of me, but I was a very angry person and I was a very reactive person. So if someone was to bite at me, I would like instantly go back at them. And I think it was always like, I've always been the smaller, meeker person. So my only way of being able to react to things was like big and loud and aggressive. So I've had to really change the way that I do things. But it's also like what, for me, important, and this kind of ties into the baby thing. For me, it's important to be like, what am I role modeling Luna for how we should disagree and how we should have conflict, because that's really important, because it's going to change her perspective of what a conflict looks like.
Obviously, we don't like to fight in front of our daughter.
But
try not. Sometimes it might pop up, very rarely.
We are not perfect human beings, you know. But I think that's the biggest thing, is like the resolve and letting her see how an argument should be handled.
And how you react to it as well. But yeah, definitely something we work on all the time. We definitely do fight. I wonder if people have that. Would people have that
What?
idea of us never fighting? Like, obviously.
Surely they'd look at you and be like, this guy's a fighter.
Do you reckon?
This guy's got it in him.
No, like, no, he's so lovely, he's so sweet.
No, people do think that, which is very
true.
annoying. No, okay. So Matt, from an outside perspective, everyone's like, he's just a big teddy bear. Oh my god, he's so nice. And then, like, I obviously know the little...
Why is that not true?
Because it's like two facades that you show. Like, what, like you are that side, but there's also the Tasmanian devil side.
Yeah, I like when you cross the line, the devil comes out. But I'm pretty good. I think I will tolerate stuff, till like you've crossed the line, and that's when you don't want. I don't like that side. People do. My closest friends see that side. Like, don't fuck with them because that's the end of the world. And I'm making improvements because I've been doing work on myself as well.
Yeah,
I'm happy to say that
look, we're all
the time.
Doing the work.
And I think I want to finish quickly on this because it's been a couple weeks.
What?
On the baby side of it, is a shout out to all the parents out there, in toddler stage.
Oh yeah.
Bless, I love my daughter so much. She's the best.
I miss her right now, but when I see her, I don't miss her.
There's so much cool shit happening right now with her development. She's so fucking cute.
She's so funny.
She's so smart and clever as well. It just, you see it all the time, like, where did that come from? How did she know that? How did she learn that so quick? But she can also the tantrums, and it was like for Em got worn down a couple of nights ago, and I was like, I never see that side of her, and I could hear it in the tone. I'm like, I'm gonna have to step in here tonight.
Gonna have to break him up.
And she comes out and she's like, I love my daughter so much, but fuck me. Oh, she's like, just want one night where we can just sit down. And watch
we had one
the
night.
adults and watch a movie
One
together.
night in 6 months where we could watch a movie together.
Or it's just lots of no's right now, like everything.
Do you want toast? No. Do you want toast? Yes.
And our daughter, which
That's
is funny as, like, we'll struggle with something and it for ages. And there's no fucking way that she'll allow anyone to help her. Like, I'm like, just let me show you how to start. No, daddy, no, mum, no. And you just want to like, I'm just going to literally show you, and then you're going to know exactly how. It's just there, and then she will work it out for herself, and she's like, see? And I was like, I know, but I could have made that so much easier for you.
She's learning though. Yeah, no, it's a lot.
It's fun. It's tough. But also so rewarding at the same time. I don't know. People like us that don't have kids go, this is so morbid. Like, everyone struggles so much, but then they're like, oh, it's the best thing ever.
This is so strange.
I don't sleep, but it's the best thing ever. Yeah.
This is awesome, but it's also shit at the same time. Yeah, no.
Tired, worn out, like rat shit.
About there.
But yeah. So shout out to all the parents who also go through that, and probably with multiple children as well. We only have one. There's parents out there doing way more than us with 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You guys
are killing it.
Guys are killing it. Respect.
All right, guys. Then we'll wrap that one up. And again, the best way for you to show that you like these, or if you give us any like feedback or anything, is just send us a message on Instagram, share it on your stories. We would absolutely love that.
Yeah, share the episodes on your stories if you think they're any good. You like us.
Apparently, we're ranking.
Yeah,
Don't know
Jordan
why.
reckons we're ranking. I don't know how. The standards must be very low. But well, even Jordan's like, man, I don't know how that happened.
Alright, thank you guys.